Oh, break it down. Break it down. Oh. The motor's set in. It's all, you know, mounted as far as the bottom motor mounts, and it's got some Subaru's great. I just love them. But anyways, it's got some bolts here on the tranny that I slapped a couple of those in and tightened a couple down so that it was good to go. But anyways, I'm just working on this, you know, buttoning some things up. This is a power steering line. I was gonna hook that up, but I was just gonna show you guys real quick that that if you have something like this, which is a copper washer, you know, this happens to be a funky shape, but they have them on like these brakes here. You know, you got a copper washer there that that actually squishes, you know, and it's a gasket basically is what it does. Well, if you have one and you need to, you know, replace that, but you don't have a replacement, you know, in this case, where, you know, it would be smart to replace that because, you know, I want it to seal good, but I don't have one. I'm not gonna wait around for one. I'm not gonna order one, you know, whatever. And so what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to heat this up so that it's hot, you know, preferably red hot. And you're gonna want to quench it, or you know, I think you can let it air dry. I think basically, you know, just any amount of heating it up is going to soften this thing, and it's called annealing. You're gonna anneal this, make it softer, and that way when you squish it again, it can, you know, squish back down, because what copper does is it work hardens. You know, I'm pretty sure that all non-ferrous metals, meaning non-magnetic, no iron, Fe, iron, ferrous, all non-ferrous materials, you know, such as, you know, metallics or whatnot, work harden this way, you know, like nickel, silver, gold, you know, copper, brass. So anyways, so if you anneal this by getting it hot and cooling it off, then it will become soft again, and that will get you by and do the trick and seal you up, hopefully with no issues. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a tip. I learned that from Ave, A-V-E, on YouTube. If you're not watching him, then you know, you definitely should. And the same way, if you're not watching Zip Ties and Bias Plies, you know, I mean, there is nothing funnier than that guy, man. He is hilarious. And so I will link him down in the description, and in the same way as Ave, because he has definitely saved my butt a number of times. Alright, thanks guys. Alright guys, so quick little update here. We're still working on the Subaru. We got a pretty good ways, you know, we got some stuff happening. We got a lot of things, you know, done. I got my motor in, it's all set in place, motor mounts attached, radiators in, trannies bolted up. You know, of course, clutch kit and everything before you did that. I've still got to put some exhaust in. I got to put a Reese hitch in the back. I've got to bleed my slave cylinder, and just some other little miscellaneous things. But anyways, I'll give you guys a little video, or a, you know, little view of what the car looks like. So I've got to put a Reese hitch up under here, and sure them bolts are not going to want to come out very good, which is a pain in the butt. If I got to torch them, then I got the bolt still in the hole, and I got some gas tank stuff back there. But there's the motor all set in place, radiators in, everything's looking good, motor mounts all tightened up. Subarus are great, man. Look at you. I mean, I can reach this bottom you know, trans bolt from the top of the engine bay. You know, I can lean right over it. Who does that? How can you do that? It's amazing. Anyways, gonna see if I can get me some exhaust gaskets at O'Reilly's. Me and Cody are gonna go get some lunch, and so anyways, we'll do that while we're out, and we'll update you when we get back. Alright guys, so we're still working on the Subaru. I got you know, the rest of the mounts all in, the rest of the tranny bolts in, got it all tightened up. I got the starter in. The bottom starter bolt is actually the only tranny bolt that you have to get underneath the vehicle to get, but I love Subarus, man. It's, you know, can't beat them. Anyways, Cody's out here working on this big block again, so we'll take a little check in and see what he's got going there. He's got her pretty much flushed right out, and we've been knocking out some rust flakes, and so we'll get into that. So Cody,
what's up?
You looks like you got this big block pretty well flushed. Here's all the rust flakes you can see there. You've been agitating this now for what, 2 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
You know, basically been running water inside of the ports, you know, all of the cooling ports on this, and then, you know, blowing air and you know, pulsing it, and you know, it's rewarded us with a whole bunch of this rust here. But you know, that's a big deal for someone that's going to use this, and this is definitely still a good block and a good motor, you know, so definitely keep an eye out for videos down the line, because I'm sure now I'm going to have some more videos with this thing in it. Not exactly sure what, you know, project she's going in now, but you know, we'll take another look at it here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, I mean, these are rusty, but I mean, you clear some of that stuff out, you know, and as long as they're not clogging up them little cooling ports, man, that's gonna be good to go.
I mean, I've never seen one without rust. So.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
boat motors, man, they're so a lot of people don't realize in an automotive application, you know, coolant is somewhat corrosive, and actually makes these inner cooling ports, you know, look a lot worse, and you know, you'd see that if you do a coolant flush on your motor. But anyway, so I mean, as far as this motor goes, I mean, comparatively to other things, you know, that are running and driving and hauling down the road, you know, this is going to be a lot cleaner application overall. Another little pro tip for you guys. No, pro tip. I'm not a pro, but another little tip anyways. If you're doing stuff like this, you know, with these clamps, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You'll have some good witness lines, you know, if it was there for any reasonable amount of time, and this was sealing up just fine. So when you put that back, you know, you're gonna want to do your best to line that up with the previous witness marks, and that'll ensure that, I don't know, got all wonky with my camera there. That'll ensure that you know, you're on the mark every time. It'll save you a lot of headache and make your job a little bit easier, and things seal the first time around. All right, guys. So I just went to the Secretary of State, picked up some registration, and I went to State Farm and got my proof of insurance and whatnot. So that way, by the end of the weekend, you know, I'll be running. Of course, it's Labor Day weekend now, so I'm not gonna have any chance to do anything about, you know, license, registration, all that crap over the weekend. So get her out of the way right now and we'll be good to go. So I got the car, motors installed, you know, I got pretty much all of the wiring and everything plugged in place. Again, man, I completely stand behind Subaru. This thing is just engineered well. Love them. Anyways, I've got my, it's actually, I think it's a Kurt hitch, but I got my hitch in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean this thing up, man. It's pretty scabby. You know, all this paint's flaking right off of it. It's you know, rusty all over the place. We're gonna clean that up, put a fresh coat of paint on it before we go ahead and slap her back on the car. We got this hitch all cleaned up here. This is about as far as I'm willing to take it. You know, I got about 45 minutes to a half hour invested, and you know, there's still some flakes in like the little nooks and crannies and whatnot, but again, you know, it's only worth so much to me. So we're gonna squirt some spray paint on this thing and call her a day, and keep on moving. We got the hitch painted. It's here. It's looking all right. We're gonna go ahead and slap it on the car, bolt it up, and then slide in the exhaust. I filled up my coolant and everything, and so So we should be nearing the end of this project. I've got the hitch installed. And I think she's gonna be alright. So now we've just got to fish this exhaust up underneath of there, hang it. I gotta put them couple of bolts in there. They go into the tranny. That's just the way that I did it. There's actually another bolt, but that's irrelevant. I gotta hook up these O2 sensors, and then I gotta clean up these gasket surfaces before I do that, and then I have new gaskets and whatnot, and I'll bolt that up, and we should be good to give her first fire up. So alright, we'll be here shortly. Oh, alright guys, well, it's officially 10:30 on Friday the 30th, and I think we're pretty much done. I think we're looking alright. I keep forgetting that I can't turn my camera back around, but yeah, I got my exhaust put in, my hitch in, I got my hood on, just bled my slave cylinder for my clutch. I think we're ready for a test run. So anyway, I'm gonna set you guys down, and we're gonna try that. All right. Well, the exhaust is in. It's horrible lighting in here, by the way. That is a motor that has been swapped from a different vehicle into this one, and this is a complete car. It's still in the air right now. Just in case, we're gonna go ahead and set that guy down. Get you guys all set up. We're gonna give her a test run. Every time, guys, every time. So I kind of anticipated this a little bit. I have a different ECU in there right now, and I'm under the impression that might make a difference. So we're gonna swap out to my other ECU and see if we can't make this happen. And I don't even know. I sure hope I can get this figured out. All right. If you guys are watching part 2, then you already know what to do. There will be a button up here and up here. You guys go ahead and subscribe, click on the next video. Watch part 3. I pretty much wrap up the video. I just want to say thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it because it does mean a lot to me. I'm really trying to put out some content that you guys enjoy and make some videos that hopefully, you know, people will be interested in. So thanks again, guys.